Hey everyone, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm still awake. I'm supposed to be travelling up to Eden. We're supposed to be getting sleep so that I could travel up to Eden. But because I had no sleep last night, and when I finally did crash, I didn't wake up until after 3 in the afternoon, I'm still wide awake. So it's looking like it's going to be a late start for me. But it can't be because there are things that close that I need to access before I leave. Anyways, so I got triggered last night and wasn't in a great headspace. PTSD wasn't great. My previous video explains it. However, problems have been resolved. But I'm supposed to be going to Eden, seeing my parents, and then travelling the following day further on to catch up with a friend who's like a sister. And I have someone here in Morwell who's a bit concerned about me doing that trip for reasons I won't get into. But I'm going to trust my gut on this one for the moment. He has a point, but I'm going to trust my gut on it. I think I'm pretty safe. So I tried to sleep. Head won't shut down. Typical. I am exhausted, but not sleeping. So at the moment, I'm just making sure I've got everything packed, which I could be doing in the morning if I could actually sleep now, but I can't sleep, so I may as well just do this now and get some sleep and then head off as soon as I wake up. It's pretty humid inside my house because it was quite a warm day, and although my house is well insulated, by the end of the day, we start to feel the heat and it's very warm inside, so I'm sitting outside because it's cooled down quite a bit outside. Still warm enough to be in short sleeves, but cool enough that it's not making me sweat, not making it hard to breathe. I've had issues with my lungs pretty much my whole life, and I had pneumonia a few months ago, which lasted for ages because I was stubborn and refused to go see a doctor about it to start with. Like, it was diagnosed, but then I refused to do anything about it. But it got worse, so I was forced to go see a doctor and get some antibiotics, which I absolutely hate. I don't like pharmaceuticals. I don't have much of a choice with some of them, but I don't like them because I don't like putting money in Big Pharma's pocket, because all they're after is money. They're greedy. They're not there to make us well. Their medications have side effects. And when we have a side effect, they give us another medication to treat that side effect. And then we get more side effects. And we don't always know that they're actually side effects when we're getting crook. So our immune systems are designed to make us well. We're designed to get sick, detox, and get over it. And our bodies then are programmed to fight that quicker next time. So yeah, when you think you've got a virus, it's just your body detoxing. But anyhow, that's another story. My lung issues. I had pneumonia and I recovered from it about a month and a half ago. But I've still had issues with a cough. Comes to nighttime and I'm inside my house and I start coughing and then I can't breathe. And the medications that I have don't seem to help a lot. I've got some natural ones as well, which seem to be helping a little bit, but couldn't figure out what it was inside my house that was setting me off. Discovered it last night. If I hadn't have been an insomniac last night and in OCD cleanup mode, got stuck into my washing, hanging washing on my clothes horse in my back living space, and I realised what the problem is. My back living space was pretty much gutted, well, partially gutted, last year, sort of early on in the part. Initially it was a living space, and then we built like a little section into it for my son to have a room of his own. Then he moved out and those walls got taken down and we had a cupboard in there that was built around one wall where we had a couple of stink pipes for the toilet. One of the stink pipes was leaking and we needed a plumber to come in and replace it. So the cupboard got ripped out. The ceiling got pulled down because the people that put it up there originally, before we owned the house, or before my parents owned the house, because I'm renting off them, it was this styrofoam tiled stuff. It was disgusting stuff, and it was starting to fall down. So that all got pulled down. So at the moment, there's no plaster on the ceiling, and there's one bare wall that's all just wood and, studs basically, and none of it's been plastered. And we're waiting on it to be plastered, but all of the old insulation is still in the roof in that room, and it's gone bad. It's green and it's fibrous, and there are cracks. Like, there is like stuff up there, but there are cracks, like centimetre wide cracks in between these panels of whatever this stuff is that's up there, and that stuff is falling down constantly. And I've just been putting up with it for months. When I've been here, that is. When I'm not here, it just mounts up because no one else bothers to clean it when they're here. My kids are here. Like, I've got a 19-year-old and a 16-year-old that stay here, and they look after the house when I'm not home. And they don't clean it. They just let it be. But the cats play with it, and we walk through it, and it's all in the air, and it's all over the fans in the front room and in the kitchen. And even in my bedroom, there is some of it on the fan. And I'm forever having to clean it up. And I hadn't really paid much attention. I just thought, we'll just clean this up. Last night when I was doing my OCD cleanup, and it is OCD, like, I've been actually diagnosed with it. I've had some people say to me, you're just labelling yourself. No, it's actually been diagnosed. If my PTSD or my anxiety gets triggered, my OCD kicks in, and there are certain things have to be cleaned, and sometimes they have to be re-cleaned, and it's just a compulsion that I can't do much about, unfortunately. So I was in my washing last night. That was what I was triggered to do last night. Washing, sweeping, cleaning up kitty litter, that sort of thing. And the toilets were next on my list, but then I fell asleep, so that didn't get done, thankfully, because I was exhausted by the time I did crash. So I'm hanging my washing out, and part of this fibre falls down from the roof and lands on what I was hanging. And I've just brushed it off, and then I've started coughing. I've looked up, and I've looked at what fell on the floor, and I've looked around the room, and there's more of it scattered. I'm thinking, I think I know what's creating the issues with my lungs at the moment. I've got 2 kids that are both asthmatic as well, but they haven't actually used inhalers for a long time. They'd pretty much almost grown out of it. Pardon me, there's that cough. My son had it fairly bad when he was younger. He was hospitalised once for it, and he was on Preventer and inhaler, like reliever as well. My daughter was on a reliever, but didn't have it bad enough to actually need a Preventer. She only needed the reliever every so often. But neither one of them had actually really needed an inhaler of any sort for quite some time. And we thought they'd pretty much grown out of it. But ever since this room got gutted, they've been complaining every so often that they need an inhaler. So they both have one again. And my lungs have been worse as well. And I keep coughing and having trouble breathing when I'm inside the house at night. And I think I might have hit the nail on the head. I think this insulation stuff that's actually falling down from the ceiling, well, from above where the ceiling should be, might be what's triggering this problem. So I'm going to have a conversation with my landlord, who is my dad, and see what we can do about getting it actually plastered finally. I've been waiting a while, but there have been things that have gotten in the way for him, and he hasn't been able to do it. But it's an OH&S thing now, so it looks like we're going to have to try and figure out a way to do it, and quickly. Because my doctor's a bit concerned about my lungs anyway, because the medications that he's got me on should be working, and they're not. So I have 2 conditions with my lungs. that I'm actually formally aware of, and one that the doctor suspects, but he can't actually do the correct tests to actually confirm that that is what it is, because I'm unable to have an anaesthetic. The last anaesthetic I had almost killed me, and the two before that I actually regained consciousness while I was under. So yeah, they've advised me not to have any more. So he believes it is that. He's done a chest x-ray and believes that's what it is. I'm not going to label what these things are, but asthma is one of them. That's all I'm going to tell you. There are other things going on as well. My lungs have been scarred pretty much most of my life as a result of using inhalers. This is something that a lot of asthma sufferers don't get told. If you're using those Ventolin inhalers or anything like that, or any of the ones that come in a powder form that you have to rinse your mouth out with, you're breathing that in and it actually creates scars on your lungs. So it does diminish your life expectancy. And I was told about mine when I was 18 years old, so I've known about it a long time. So I have that issue anyway, which means my lung capacity is also diminished. But yeah, having found this out, this might fix the problem a little bit. I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful, because it's not nice when you're sitting there, you go into a sneezing fit or a coughing fit, and then suddenly you can't breathe, and the medication you have to fix it doesn't fix it. Some night, I'm even wheezing now. I don't know if the video can even pick it up, but I am actually wheezing a little bit now. And I've had a bit of a sneezing fit not long before I started making this video. And I'm actually outside, and it's easier to breathe out here than it is inside there. So yeah, hopefully I've found the problem, and hopefully we can get that sorted out. What else is news? I caught up with my friend, and it was a good little catch up, and we said goodbye, and we are definitely going to miss each other while I'm away, but we're going to keep in touch, so it's all good. He's a little bit more than a friend, but we're not actually labelling anything right now, so yeah. But my trip is probably going to be delayed a little bit because I need to get some sleep before I drive 6 hours. And I cannot sleep because I did not sleep last night. So yeah, I'm just sitting here rambling on because I have nothing better to do. Of course, at this hour of the night, I can't be reaching out to friends saying, hey, do you want to talk? I can't sleep, because my friends are mostly sleeping. And I don't want to disturb anybody. I know I've got friends that stay awake, but you never know when they are awake, so you don't want to reach out just in case they're not awake. But, yeah, I'm thinking about all these things that have gone on last year, things that have gone on this year so far. And I'm thinking about people that have double standards. That's something I want to touch base on. Last night I talked about mental health. I should say early hours of the morning, I talked about mental health. And basically, I was talking about how people can be triggered if they have like anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress, anything like that can be triggered. Because when you've got any of those things, usually it's triggered by some sort of trauma that's happened to you. And you've got to be mindful of how you speak to people, because you don't want to be triggering them. And I've been triggered a lot last year and night before last now, because it's early hours of the morning, I was triggered, but I'm coping with it a lot better these days. But yeah, what I want to talk about right now is double standards. I've had people put me down for making my videos. When I was younger, I wouldn't have made these videos. I was not the sort of person that wanted to be the center of attention. I was not the sort of person that wanted to be on video. I wasn't even necessarily fond of having my photo taken because I'm a bigger girl. I'm short, but I'm a bigger girl. And my weight issues have always been created by the fact that I was pumped full of corticosteroids. That's one of the side effects that corticosteroids can do. It basically screwed up my system, and my body tends to retain fluid and fat. And certain foods that I can eat can make it worse, and if I start bloating up a little bit, I just have to cut those foods out of my diet completely until it all settles down, and then I can have a little bit here and there. But yeah, because I'm short, most people are taller than I am. I don't know too many people that are my height. Not far off midget height, and I don't like being called midget because that was the nickname that my first partner gave me, and I don't really like him. He's an ex for a reason. So yeah, I'm not fond of being called that. I'm actually taller than midget status, but not quite. Not by much, I should say. Yeah, I'm only 4'10.5", so I'm very short and quite rotund. A lot smaller now than I was because I got really huge there for a while, but I saw a specialist and he actually worked out what the problem was, so dropped a lot of weight in a very short space of time, and last year I lost quite a lot of weight because I was stressed out. And I wasn't eating a lot, and some of the food I was eating wasn't staying down. So I've been picked on and put down for making my videos. I've been told by some people, some, not just one, some, that they don't appreciate my videos, that they think I'm attention seeking, which I'm not. I'm actually not. I'm just bored and I guess reaching out because there are people out there that go through similar things, and it's sometimes nice to know that you're not the only one that's going through something. So I'm not just thinking of myself here. I think of those that might be watching these videos. But there's a couple of people who have said something to me about making these videos who have done pretty much the exact same thing that I'm doing right now. And if anything, one in particular was a lot worse with the videos, like in complaining and coming from a place of self rather than a place of, you know, wanting to care about others. One person I know of was making videos for some time and was constantly rambling about the problems that they were having and asking for people to reach out and talk to them, and was basically saying that they didn't believe they were doing anything wrong, but they wanted to know what other people thought they were doing wrong. And this person creates their own problem. I don't talk to her anymore. I haven't for a long time. She is basically a problem. But yeah, she picked on me at one point about making it was music videos that I was making at the time, not these kind of videos. But my music that I write it tends to be about my emotions. That's how I get my emotions out sometimes. I haven't been motivated to do it for a while, but that was how I was getting out emotions that were bottled up. And this person was basically telling me, oh, you're seeking attention, you shouldn't be doing this, blah, blah, blah. And yet in the next breath, she was making a video whinging and whining and moaning and groaning, basically getting her own emotions out. That's a double standard. Another person that I'm aware of basically had a go at me about putting stuff up on social media about them. And yet I recall about 2 years ago now, not even 2 years ago, about 12 months ago, if that, this person put up a video about their ex, going on about the ex being childish. And I thought to myself, okay, you don't like people putting stuff up about you, but you're quite willing to put stuff up about other people. Double standard. So, yeah, if you're going to pick on someone for what they're doing, take a good long hard look at yourself in the mirror first and make sure that you're not doing the same thing that you're picking on them about. Because double standards aren't a great thing. They're really not. I've known plenty of people in my life that have double standards. And you know what? You know what I tell them? Well, that's a double standard. If you don't want me doing it, don't do it yourself. Because you start doing something yourself, you got to expect that you're going to notice other people doing it. Because in life, we're all energy. Everything is energy. We are animated because of energy. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It just transmutes into a different form. And what animates us is energy. We are surrounded by energy. Everything has energy traveling around it and through it. And what you put out is what you get back most of the time. So if you're putting stuff out there, you're doing something, anything, it could be anything at all, and you don't like other people doing it, maybe take a look at yourself and say, hey, I shouldn't be doing this because I don't want others doing it, or I don't want to notice that others are doing it, because that's usually what's happening. When you're picking on someone else about something that they're doing or saying, take a long, hard look at yourself, because I can guarantee you, at some level, you're doing much the same, because like attracts like. This is a fact. Look into it. You'll find I'm actually right. I've done a lot of reading. I read a lot. And this is just one of the things that I've read about. I was advised to read about it actually by one of my psychologists that I saw many years ago. So yeah, I'm not ashamed of the fact that I have mental health issues. There are plenty of people out there with mental health issues. I'm not ashamed of the fact that I've sought help for my mental health issues, because if you're not seeking help when you've got a problem, how are you going to solve it? We can't solve everything on our own. So yeah, if you've got problems, look at what you're seeing in other people. You see traits in other people, you'll usually be displaying some of those traits yourself. So be careful who you pick on or what you pick on people about, because at some level, you're probably displaying some of the same things. I'm not saying this is true for every situation, because it's probably not. But usually when you get annoyed about something that someone is doing, that's because you're doing it yourself and you actually don't like the fact that you're doing it. And you're in denial. This is something a psychologist actually said to me, and I looked it up and was reading about it, and yeah, that's something that is actually true. I've seen circumstances where I've actually watched people pick on other people about things. I'm thinking, wait a minute, that's a hypocritical thing to say. Double standards are hypocritical. I know of a person who was going on about someone saying they were going to do something and not actually doing it. But this person is renowned for saying they're going to do something and not actually doing it. I know several people in my life that are like that. Me, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to damn well do it. And if I forget, I will be very apologetic that I've forgotten, and I will still attempt to do whatever I can to fix it. But there are so many people I know in my life who don't. They will sit there and say, oh, I'm going to do such and such. And then a week later, they haven't done it. And you're like, why haven't you done that? Oh yeah, I'm going to do that. And they still don't do it. So yeah, it's a double standard when you're picking on someone else about things that you're actually doing yourself. So yeah, don't be a hypocrite. Don't have double standards. If you're going to pick on someone, make sure that you look at yourself long and hard in the mirror before you judge someone else. And also make sure that you know a bit about their background and you have some level of understanding of what they're going through, because you're not inside their head. You're not seeing the world through their eyes. You don't necessarily know the truth entirely about their past or how they've felt, what they've been going through, whatever they've been through in their past. It is physically impossible for you to walk in someone else's shoes and view the world through somebody else's eyes. So please, don't judge people. Judgmentalism is, if that's even a word, that's a word I've created possibly, if it doesn't exist. It's not a good thing. It's really not a good thing to judge others if you're doing much the same things you're judging them for. Yeah, anyways, I'm rambling. I'm bored. This video's gone for 24 minutes and 31 seconds or something. And I really should be trying to get some sleep, even though my head's ticking over, and you can probably hear that with how fast I'm actually talking, because that's just what happens with me sometimes. I'm going to try and sleep, because right now I'm wide awake and I still need to drive. So anyway, have a good one, everyone. I'll talk to you with the next video.